I was 19 years old,
Okay.
and I was just hustling. You know,
Yeah.
I was just trying to,
Yeah.
any way I can, just try to get some money. Starting out, I was making anywhere from like 60 to 70K a month. Our average order value was like anywhere from $90 to $100 on a $5 product.
How do you stand out from the competition when you're doing your e-commerce brand?
There's far more buyers of
Yeah.
these products than there is actual people selling the
Yeah.
product. There's always going to be more consumers than producers.
It's always.
It's just a basic fact of economy. But people can't understand the scale of what we're dealing with here. We're not talking about setting up a brick and mortar store and selling to the people walking by.
How do you look on your competition to be able to see the type of ads
Yeah.
they're running? How do you do it? So Jess, you've done over $30 million online in the last how many years?
6 years.
Wow. And how old are you?
26.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, let's take us back. How did you even know about this whole e-commerce business? Was e-commerce the first thing you started to do online?
No, actually, the first thing I did a lot in the beginning. The
Yeah.
first year of entrepreneurship was the hardest year.
Okay.
But they say that first year, you know, making your 100K is always the hardest part. And so I did vending machines.
Wow.
So me and my brother used to walk to all the different vending machines and look at the inventory, and we would see what's the most popular in our area.
Yeah.
Then we would go to these different businesses and ask them if they needed a vending machine. We didn't have vending machines, but we would ask them if they needed one. And most of them said no, but one contract in the vending machine space can net you $2,000 to $3,000 in profit on a monthly basis. So we just needed one.
Wow.
So for months we would walk around and try to get people to, you know, allow us to place a vending machine in their business.
Yeah.
Until we got one.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, this works. And so we did that, but that was a lot of sweat work. So I got into wholesaling real estate. I did that individually. And I would walk around and, you know, go door to door and see who wanted to sell their house.
How old were you around this time?
At this time, I was 20 years old.
Okay.
So I was 19 years old,
Okay.
and I was just hustling. You know,
Yeah.
I was just trying to,
Yeah.
any way I can, just try to get some money.
So the common entrepreneur story, because myself as well, when I was starting out as well, tried a whole bunch of different business opportunity.
Yeah.
I actually was working a job
Yeah.
before I even got into entrepreneurship. So I
Nice.
was working at Costco, tried these different things, and I was like, man, let me try to figure out how I can make money online, because I started to see a lot of people making money online.
100%. Yeah, exactly, man. You got the same story. I'm seeing
Nice.
all these people online, and I'm like, there's, you know, that before all this, you know,
Yeah.
first I'm doing all the hustling stuff like you
Yeah.
know, trying to find a way. At the time I was an immigrant. Are you immigrant?
I'm actually an immigrant too. Where are you from?
I was born in London. I'm a
Oh, you was born in
British
London?
citizen. Yeah.
Oh,
What about you? Where are
wow.
you from?
I was born in Ivory Coast, but I'm
Okay.
Liberian and Nigerian.
Wow. Oh, Nigeria. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of Nigerian. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm from
wow.
Ghana.
Oh, you from Ghana?
Yeah.
I went after there was a war in Liberia, and I went to Ghana for like, I was transitioning when I was coming to the United States. I was in Ghana for like at least 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So you know about the whole Ghana must go and all that? When they
Yeah, if I have the
bags
Ghana
with it?
must go bag.
Yeah, me too. They kicked us out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So
what's
you was
up,
in
man.
Ghana?
Yeah, no, not me, but
Okay.
my parents
Yeah.
and my grandparents and all the way back.
Oh,
so my
wow.
granddad was a king in the village over there. So
Oh, wow. So you're African.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. My mom was Lebanese. So
Oh,
I
your
got
mom was
half-
Lebanese?
Half Middle Eastern, half African. So
Oh,
a little
wow.
bit
I have
everything.
a lot of Lebanese
Yeah.
friends.
Oh yeah, man. Lebanon is awesome. You know, yeah, I love it.
Lebanon are one of the best entrepreneurs. They're everywhere in
100%,
Africa.
100%. I know a lot of Lebanese entrepreneurs, and we're connected, and they're hustlers.
Wow.
Yeah, they're hustlers. So yeah, other than all the war and everything going on right now,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful place. I love it. So yeah, that's you know.
So what was the first thing that you was like, you know what, I'm gonna dive into this and I'm gonna take it serious? Because
Yeah.
online though.
Online, you know, I was in college at
Yeah.
the time. This was around the time when I was preparing for my son.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I'm dead broke. I'm in college.
Yeah.
This degree's not really gonna, you know, I don't have enough time. I'm a freshman.
Where'd you
And
go to college?
Indiana.
Oh, Indiana.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I ran track, so I got a little
Oh,
scholarship.
nice.
So,
So you think you could beat me in a race?
100%.
So we got a
We
race.
can run this outside right now. Yeah, we can run this right now, man. Yeah, man. So I'm in college. I'm running track, man. I'm running nationals. So just say I'm a national
You
champion.
gonna be speeding a race?
Well, I just raced. I don't know if you saw the video, but I just posted a video of me racing my brother.
Yeah.
Smoked him, and he's super fast too.
Oh,
And
wow.
it wasn't even close. It got millions of views, and everyone was like, "Tag speed, tag
Yeah.
speed." So I don't know, maybe he'll see the video. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not getting beat regardless. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in college.
He
and
just
I'm-
beat Ashton Hall in
I
a
saw
race.
it, but they're both slow.
They're
So
both
it's like-
so both of them are slow.
They're not track runners. There's
Yeah.
a big difference between just being fast, like a runner, a street racer,
Yeah.
and being a track athlete. Massive difference. I've
What's the
trained
difference
for this.
between that?
I trained for 7 years in track.
Yeah.
I know how to start.
Yeah.
I know the form. I know how to lift my knees. I know how to pump my arms. They're just running raw speed.
Yeah.
I'm running with technique and speed.
So running is an art.
It's an art.
Oh, wow.
There's no other sport that you, like in basketball, anyone can jump on the court and throw and make it into the basket.
Yeah.
In track, you can't do that. It's
Yeah.
the only sport where it literally takes perfection
Yeah.
in order to be any good at the
So
sport.
you can smoke Ashley Hall and speed.
At the same, I'll give him a head start. And I would still win.
Okay,
Yeah, 100%. It's not even close. It's an art form. Like I
Yeah.
dedicated years of my life to perfecting the art form.
Yeah.
I'm not getting beat by some random guy on the street. It's not
Wow.
happening. It's
Wow.
not happening.
So let's go back to your internet entrepreneur
Yeah, 100%.
ventures, right? So you started, where did you start first online? Because you did the
Yeah.
vending machine, and now what got you to the point where you was like, I want to start selling products online? Because I remember when I started, went online. The first thing I did was like, how do I make money online on YouTube?
Okay.
And I started
Yeah.
watching a whole bunch of videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, all these guys are making money online. I'm going to find a way to do it. And I ran into Shopify.
Yeah.
That's how I got into e-commerce. So how did you get
That's
started?
awesome. That's awesome. And it sounds similar to my story.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was selling, I was in school. I couldn't get a job because I was an immigrant. So I
Yeah.
was selling RGB lights. You know,
Okay.
people would put them up on the ceiling. Remember they used to put the clouds on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ceiling?
yeah.
And I was selling them. I would go to Ross or
Yeah.
Walmart and I would buy a bunch.
Yeah.
And then I would resell them and make like $10, $20 per unit that I was selling.
Okay.
And then that's when COVID happened and everything shut down.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sell them on campus anymore. So instead of doing that, like you, I searched up how can I continue selling my stuff?
Oh,
And that's
wow.
when I went on YouTube, found Shopify. Opened up my first Shopify store and started selling RGB lights. And that was my first store. And
How did you, what platform did you use to start to run ads? You know, because when I
Yeah.
started, I was heavily on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing a lot of TikTok shop and all this thing come around. Did you
Yeah.
come around in like the TikTok shop era?
Yeah.
Because me, when I came around, it was all Facebook ads. It was like,
Yeah.
but then Mark Zuckerberg, they had the whole glitch where
Yeah.
everybody Facebook ads went out of whack.
Yeah.
Like I went from making $60,000, $70,000 in a day with my Facebook ads to like only like $5,000, $2,000.
Really?
And it was like, yo, I can't be doing e-commerce like that anymore.
What year was that? When did that happen?
This was around 2020, 2019.
That's when he changed the algorithm.
Yeah.
I remember that too. Yeah. And I was in that around the same time.
Okay.
And I was doing Facebook ads heavily.
Oh, so you was doing Facebook ads?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Around this time, TikTok wasn't really a big thing.
Oh,
TikTok
wow.
became a big thing in 2020.
Yeah.
But TikTok Shop didn't become a thing until like 2 years ago around.
Wow.
So it wasn't, in 2023 is when TikTok Shop, 2022. And so there was no such thing. So we were reliant heavily on Facebook ads.
Wow.
So everything was Facebook ads, but outside of that, I was doing a lot of organic marketing.
Yeah.
So I would literally just post my own videos of
Oh,
me
wow.
like with my RGB lights on the ceiling, sitting
Yeah.
there chilling. And I would just post that stuff.
So you was just grinding it out.
grinding it out.
Just
yeah.
posting your own content
mean-
consistently on TikTok.
100%, man. I mean, like the thing about that is I was making pretty much outside of my cost of goods. I was making, gross revenue starting out. I was making anywhere from like 60 to 70K a month, my first year.
And just you posting consistently on TikTok.
And that's great. I'm making 80% net revenue on that because of the cost. I'm buying it from China. I'm getting it for, these RGB lights are like $3, $4.
Wow.
And I'm selling them for $40, $50, sometimes $100.
Yeah.
Our AOV, our average order value was like anywhere from $90 to $100 on a $5 product.
Wow. So you found, you see, this is something that smart e-commerce people do and people who are not good at e-commerce don't do.
Yeah.
You found a product that you found for less than $5, for
Right.
basically $5. So the market, you was able to really increase the price point on that.
Exactly.
One of my best product that I sold online too when I was first getting started, I always love women products.
Yeah.
Like
They crush.
I always sold slippers, heels, and anything that was with woman accessories.
That's
Because
great.
the margin on those was so freaking healed.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, women love buying stuff.
Yeah.
They love spending money, whether it's their money or their man's money. They're
Yeah.
gonna spend the
They're
money.
gonna spend the money.
And so you can never go wrong selling a women's product.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why one of our best-selling products was the waist trainer.
Oh, wow.
I sold $2.5 million in 1 month in waist trainers.
You see, a lot of people may say there's a lot of competition, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're doing any product, you can be doing waist trainer, you can be selling the lights that you were selling.
Yeah.
You could be selling anything, collagen and all these different products online.
Yeah.
And people say, hey, there's so many competition. How do you stand out from the competition when you're doing your e-commerce brand?
See, the thing is, there's always going to be competition.
Yeah.
But one thing that people don't realize is that there is far more buyers of
Yeah.
these products than there is actual people selling the
Yeah.
product. there's always going to be more consumers than producers.
It's always.
It's just a basic fact of economy.
Yeah.
And, I went to school for finance. So I studied the statistics. What are the economics, the macroeconomics behind how you sell a product and how you beat the competition in selling that product.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's not about how many people are selling this product. It's who is the number one seller of this product and how do I do it better than them?
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be a majority owner of the market.
Yeah.
Like an Amazon in online selling or like a Nike in sports apparel. There's going to be that number one. So if I'm stepping into a space, how do I do it better than them? Because underneath the majority owner is the smaller percentage, and that's what people consider the saturation.
Yeah.
But they don't own any of the market. It's the one that owns the market, and if you can do it on their level or above their level, you're going to crush it.
How do you spy out your competition? What are some tools that you use when you're saying, hey, I want to get into this product? How do you look on your competition to be able to see the type of ads they're running, to be able to make creatives like them? How do you do it?
So I'm heavily relying on AI.
Okay.
So everything that I do, like in the beginning, I was spending so much money on spying on the competition, on marketing, on content editing, on this whole business that I was running. I'm spending 6 figures a month just on the team.
Yeah.
I've shrunk everything down where I'm spending less than 10K and everything is ran by AI.
But what type of AI tools are you using to be able to do that?
100%. So number one for finding and spying on your competition and watching them to know how they do and do what they do is Calo data.
Okay.
So Calo data will show you the number one stores for any specific product.
Yeah.
And then you can configure it down by niche. So let's say that I'm going into the women's beauty niche.
Yeah.
I can toggle it down and configure to specifically see all of the number one stores for the women's niche. And then from there, I can go into the store and look at the videos that they're posting, look at the numbers that they're doing, look at the advertisements that they are running.
Wow.
And then I can copy them.
So you can find all this data online.
Here's the online using AI. But here's the best part. There's this other site called viralninja.io.
Yeah.
And it spots the most viral products and trending brands. And you can take the data, copy and paste it, and it'll download their videos, download their products, and import them into your store.
Wow.
So now you have their products, their videos, their scripts, all in your store using Viral Ninja.
So if you're downloading their videos and things like that, wouldn't it be copyright infringement?
Well, that's the thing, like especially on TikTok, these brands don't know how to copyright their products or copyright they're not copyrighted.
So you're saying anybody can just
Anyone
get started
can
and just literally import a person's entire store, their entire videos, and start to run ads on that?
Yes, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop you.
Wow.
And
so what's the excuse for people who are trying to get into e-commerce and they're saying, hey, e-commerce is hard, it's difficult, it's saturated. What holds those people back?
Well, they are what's holding them back.
Wow.
The people around them are what's holding them back. Because like you just said, their friends and their own mind is telling them this is saturated. There's too many people selling this product. I just bought this product from here. How am I going to compete with all these and this? And they're psyching themselves out of the deal.
Yeah.
Right now, there are 2 billion daily shoppers online.
Yeah.
Billion. There's only 2 million stores for every niche for 2 billion people to shop from.
Wow.
Meaning that there is a major disparity between the people shopping online and the people selling online.
Wow.
Meaning that no matter what niche you're going into, you're going to sell to a small, minute percentage of those 2 billion. And even if you're selling to 200 of those a day, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars on a monthly basis. But people can't understand the scale of what we're dealing with here. We're not talking about setting up a brick and mortar store and selling to the people walking by.
Yeah. You're selling to the globe. What are some of the
globe.
best countries you found that buys the most outside of America?
Outside of America, it's the UK. China is massive. China is a massive, massive market.
So you target China to sell their goods. So, but what if those people in China are like, hey, I can go down the street and get this for the cheaper price? Why are those people buying online from your store instead of them just going down the street in Shanghai or Guangzhou?
Yeah. So the thing is that the same product availability that you have in the US is the same product availability that you have in China. It's the lack of knowledge to know that you can get it down the street cheaper.
So you're saying people in China don't even know they can get these products as well?
China is the biggest marketplace for goods sold online to find if you're starting up a store.
Yeah.
And people in China spend more money in the US than in China.
Oh,
They're
wow.
spending money on online stores because at the end of the day, who creates the market?
Yeah.
The US.
Yeah.
We have the celebrities, we have the influencers, we create what people like, we create the trends.
Yeah.
And China is massive for following trends when it comes to their online world.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to China, I will say this. China is years ahead of the game when it comes to online marketing.
Okay.
If you go down the street in China, you're gonna see streets and streets of hundreds of people with 10 cameras lined up.
Wow.
With flashlights on each of them, and they're selling products on live on TikTok Shop.
Wow.
Live selling.
So they're hustling. They're on it.
Hustling.
So what's up with people in America? They're like, hey, if I post 5 videos, they're tired of
right.
What's up with them? Because you had the hustle. That's how you got started.
100%, man. And that's the thing, is the lack of hustle these days. And we're living in a generation where people get tired of something, they get bored of something, and then they just give up. If it doesn't work that first time, they give up.
Yeah.
But us as entrepreneurs, we know that the only way you can succeed is to fail again. And a failure isn't a failure unless you give up. It's just a lesson learned.
That's true.
That's pushing you towards achieving that end goal. It's just a lesson.
Yeah.
That's all it is a lesson. But people don't understand, and they think that that failure is something that has set them back. The only thing that sets you back is giving up. And people don't realize that.
Awesome. So let's say a person's starting out right now and they want to make their first 10K a month with e-commerce.
Yeah.
What is the best ad platform they should go to, or organic platform they should be able to do, and what type of product they should be able to sell? If I'm starting right now, I want to make 10 grand a month with my e-commerce brand. What should I do?
I'll give you an exact 3 steps you can take right now to make $10,000 a month.
What are the steps?
Off the bat. So step number 1, you're going to open up a TikTok shop. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
All you need to do is open up an LLC.
Yeah.
Costs like $100 to do that.
Okay.
So you're $100 out of pocket right now.
Okay.
Cool. Now you have a TikTok shop. You can start selling products online. Now, the entire market right now is based on affiliates. It's based on how many people you can get promoting your product.
Yeah.
Now, here's the best thing about affiliates, and what we didn't have when we were in the game.
Yeah.
We had to spend a bunch of money to make a bunch of money.
You had to run a lot of Facebook ads.
You don't have to do that anymore.
Wow.
Because affiliates run the market. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to a site called BrandFam.
Okay.
So BrandFam is a site that gives you affiliates.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give you 2 matter.
How many affiliates are on those platforms?
So like on BrandFam, it's probably like 3,000 or 4,000 affiliates that are looking for work.
Okay.
Then you have the TikTok Affiliate Center.
How many affiliates are on TikTok Affiliate Center?
Hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
But here's the thing. There are a lot of brands trying to reach these affiliates.
How do you get them?
How do you get them? You got to have a better offer than the other brands.
What's the best offer to be able to separate yourself from the other brands?
30% commission. All these brands are offering 10%. So if you sell a $100 product, you get $10.
Yeah.
But if I have a $100 product and you sell it, you get 30. So now double that. You're getting 20 if you get 10%. Now you're getting 60 if you sell mine. Multiply that by 1,000.
So what is the ideal product cost you should buy for a wholesale price to be able to sell on TikTok Shop?
Your profit margins have to be around 70 to 80% in order to be able to comfortably afford and still be in profit enough to give out a 30% commission. But here's a good thing about giving a 30% commission. We have creators right now that are affiliates for our brands that are doing $200,000, $300,000 a month.
Wow.
So for us, giving 30% to a creator who makes us $100,000 every single month is nothing.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, these people who we're right now telling them how to make their first 10K haven't made $1.
Wow.
So we're showing them how to make their first 100. Even if you gave 50%, you're still making a profit.
Yeah.
And multiply that by 3 influencers.
Yeah.
So let's say right now you go to the TikTok Affiliate Center, you go to BrandFam, and you find 3 affiliates.
Yeah.
And you can find out how much money an affiliate has made by going to Callow data. So you'll find affiliates that are already doing good numbers.
So they have analytics based on affiliate sales.
Exactly. So you find an affiliate that's doing that's done $100,000 for the product that you're selling. Let's stick with the women's beauty niche.
Yeah.
They've done 100K. So they can do 100K for you.
Yeah.
You're giving them 30%, which is 30K. If they come in and even do 50% of what they did for that other brand and you're selling the same product, so let's just say they do 50K for you.
Yeah.
They've already done hundreds of thousands. They do 50K for you. You pay them out 30% of that, what's that, 15K?
Yeah.
So out of that 15, you're collecting 35 Gs. So
Wow.
that's 35K. We're not talking 10K anymore. We're talking, and multiply that by 3. Let's take the number, because I always like to do the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
Say you know nothing.
Yeah.
You've made nothing.
Yeah.
And you can only find an influencer that's going to make you 10K.
Yeah.
10K is nothing on TikTok Shop. That's one video.
Yeah.
One video will make you 10K. So you get an affiliate that makes you 10K, they get 3K, you get 7.
Yeah.
You've made $7,000 off one affiliate, and we have hundreds of them right now.
Wow.
So that's step number 2. Now, what is your affiliate selling? You need a good product.
Yeah.
You got to go to viralninja.io. You got to go to Calo Data. Look at the data.
So you're just trying to drop ship the product. So what about focusing on creating your own brand? Because drop shipping, you can make a lot of money selling with drop shipping and things like that. But then also after, what if the product gets it gets saturated, the sales starts to go down? So would you recommend focusing on creating your brand instead of drop shipping for a person who's starting out?
That's a good point.
Because you can drop ship a brand.
Yeah. That's a good point. So here's what I'll say. If you're watching this and you're a complete beginner, you're gonna start just drop shipping.
Okay.
Because you
just
don't,
sell whatever.
You haven't made anything.
Yeah.
Now that you have some revenue, you have some money in the bank, you have some liquidity, we can start to talk about white labeling and about putting your own brand on these products and scaling a brand.
Yeah.
Scaling a brand is where the real money's at. You know that.
Yeah.
That's where I've made my 30 million.
Yeah.
Is in scaling a brand.
What
and
is
then
your
selling
brand
it.
called?
I have 7 different brands right now.
What is your biggest brand?
Biggest brand? So my biggest brand right now is one that we're actually looking to sell, and it's a supplement patch. So
is it like for like enhancing your health, your energy?
Creatine for women. You have period cramps. We have energy patches. So you put it on and you know
it gives
it's
you
called
energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Gimme.
Oh, nice.
And so it's and here's the reason why I said $30 million is nothing compared to what you can make in this brand. Because I have a buddy who just sold his brand for $100 million. They gave him a 10x multiple on what he was doing on a monthly basis.
Wow.
And so 30 million is nothing because all you need to get is your brand to a certain amount, and these other brands will come to you and offer you 10 times what you're doing on a monthly basis to buy out your brand.
So what are different buyers, when they're buying brands, look for in a brand to buy that brand?
They're looking for, first of all, brand identity.
Okay.
So this is one thing why it's so important to, once you've made your first couple thousand, because all we want them to do now is make their first 10K, which they should know how to do now. You know how to find the product, you know how to find the affiliates, and you know where to sell the product.
Yeah.
You're good now. You can make 10K. Now, when you're taking it to the next level and talking about building a brand, we have to start talking about brand identity.
Yeah.
We have to start collecting data. So you have to collect emails and you have to collect phone numbers.
Wow.
Because a bigger brand is not, you couldn't be making $1 million a month. And if I come to your brand and you don't have anyone's phone number or anyone's email, it's useless to me. Because once those subscribers stop subscribing to your brand, how are you going to reach out to them again? How am I going to reach out to them with my brand and try to convert them over to what I'm selling?
Yeah.
Your brand is useless to me if you're not collecting data. Data runs the world.
Nice.
So data is very important. So it's brand identity, it's data, and then it's the culture and community that you build around that brand.
So when you have people buying your product, do you put them in like a community group to nurture that community? How do you keep that culture?
Yeah. So the first part of the culture is just in that email and text message outreach.
Yeah.
So you're warming them up. So like for my supplements, for example.
Yeah.
I'm sending them a daily message on how to stay healthy for the day. Here's a workout routine. Here's what else you can do other than taking the patches in order to optimize your health.
Yeah.
So I'm nurturing the lead by showing them I care outside of purchase.
Yeah.
Most brands is like, once you buy something, go about your way. Thank you for your money. On to the next one.
Yeah.
But the $1 billion brands are the ones that retain is customer retention.
Yeah.
So they have a very low churn rate of people who are not buying on the next month.
Okay.
And then the next very important thing is monthly recurring revenue, which means that you're setting up subscriptions for your brand.
What are some subscriptions that you set up for your brand?
So for my patches, for example, we have a 30-day subscription. So each patch that you take is for 30 days, and then you got to get a new patch because you're out. And so every month it renews, and we send you it out automatically.
Out of the percentage of people that buy from your e-commerce store, how many would you say gets your subscription?
So we are currently, now the subscription model on TikTok Shop is something that isn't fully available. They don't have the they don't have the subscription model fully
built
launched.
Into Shopify yet?
Into TikTok Shop.
Into TikTok Shop, okay.
But
so you don't even use a Shopify store?
We use Shopify because when you're building a brand, you have to have a Shopify. You can't only sell on TikTok.
Yeah.
Unless you're just drop shipping, you can do on TikTok. But when it comes to the subscription model, Shopify is amazing. It works great. So we use the subscription model for that, not mainly for TikTok. We like to get 60%, at least 60% of our buyers on a subscription model. And then we like to have a less than 10% churn rate, which means that less than 10% of the people who come in are leaving.
Yeah.
We like to keep 90% of our customers going on a monthly basis. This goes for all of our brands. We have a jewelry brand. We have a fashion brand. We have more supplement brands, digestible supplement brands. So we have a few different brands outside of, across the board spectrum, and we're looking at how to diversify.
So with TikTok Shop, right?
Yeah.
Do TikTok allow you to get your customer data? Like their emails, their phone number, their buying, you get all the reports for your customer.
100%. They have it all in the TikTok database.
Okay, so when I was starting e-commerce back in the day, our entire focus was creating a hype on the brand, where we use influencers and celebrities and different people to create that brand awareness so people can believe the trust of the brand.
Yeah.
What would you have to say about influencer in today's time?
Influencers are becoming less powerful now. People don't really care. And we saw this in the 2023 or 2024 presidential election.
Wow.
Where we had the Democrats had all the celebrities. They had all the famous people promoting their side, and they still lost. Yeah. And so Hollywood was behind this side, but how did they not win? And it's because influencers are becoming less powerful. People don't really relate as much to influencers anymore because the world is struggling. People aren't making enough money to look at some multi-million-dollar actor and be like, I can relate to that person. Yeah. So if they see that person promoting a brand or a product, they're like, well, clearly you're getting paid for that. What does work though is micro-influencers. Wow. So instead of having someone who has $10 million and paying them hundreds of thousands to promote the brand, now we have hundreds of micro-influencers with anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 followers. Yeah. And their following bases believe in them because they have a personal relationship with this person because they're not some mega celebrity. They're not some multi-millionaire. Yeah. So seeing that product coming from someone that they can relate to on a personal level, they're going to trust that. Yeah. They're going to believe that product is true and can really help them as opposed to someone who's made millions of dollars and already has everything. Yeah. So we found that the major influencer marketing that we used to do doesn't work anymore. But now we have hundreds of affiliates, micro-influencers, we're selling hundreds of thousands of units of this product.
When you're looking for micro-influencer, what is the ideal following do you want those individuals to have for you to put them as an affiliate for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Engagement is very important.
Okay. So
there are influencers who will reach out to us because they want to join our brand. They have 1 million followers, and then you go into their video, you got 1,000 views, 0 comments, 2 likes. Wow. You have 1 million followers. Yeah. See, that's the thing about social media now, especially TikTok. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. Any one of your views right now could start up a TikTok, post a video tomorrow and go viral and get 10,000 followers. Yeah. Because TikTok's very organic and anyone can do it. If you make good content, people are going to rock with your content and follow you.
That's true.
So we don't look for followers anymore. We don't care about followers. We care about engagement. Yeah. So there could be a creator with 5,000 followers. Yeah. But every single one of their videos has 500 comments, 1,000 likes, 10,000 likes. And we're like, this guy has a following, a real true core following of people who rock with his content. He creates good content. We'll go for that person, the person with 5K followers, but 5K comments and 5K likes. We'll take over the person with 2 million followers and 5 comments and 5 likes all day, every day.
Wow. So now you've already done e-commerce. You're crushing it. What do you see yourself like taking your e-commerce brand for years to come?
Yeah. It's a great question. And you always have to look at the end goal. My end goal is to sell each one of my brands for multiple 7 figures. And then once I do that, once I sell out of the brands I have currently, I'm going to launch one more brand. It's going to be my final play. Yeah. And it's going to be the $1 billion play. Yeah. And I'm going to launch this brand. I'm going to scale it up to $1 billion valuation, and then I'm going to sell it. And then I'm going to move off to a beach somewhere and kick back and drink mojitos for the rest of my No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, my plan is to launch $1 billion staple product that everyone uses, but doesn't have my face attached to it. Yeah. And rack it up. I really want to have a massive impact.
Nice. You also do coaching and you teach people how to start their own e-commerce business. Yeah. So like, what's your coaching program about? Like, what do you offer to people?
100%. So like what we're focused on mainly, like I said before, is like affiliates are so powerful right now. anyone could launch a social media right now, post a video,
Yeah.
and make their first $1,000 off of one video.
Yeah.
And so what we're focusing heavily now is how do we take these people who have never used social media, who have never used the phone,
Yeah.
and get them to post a video and make their first $1,000.
Yeah.
And we've created an entire program that teaches people exactly how to do that. And then we partner them up with brands that are already making money so that they can go in and start making money immediately.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the best part is that you don't just have to be an affiliate.
Yeah.
If you know how to create videos and you know how to become an affiliate, you can start your own brand. You can create the videos for your own brand.
Yeah.
So now you're making the profit on the back end on the store, and you're making the profit on the front
But
end
you have
on
to
the
post
commissions.
that. You have to post that content.
You got to.
You know?
But content is, we're living in the content economy.
Yeah.
Money now is not money what it was 10 years ago. Money
Yeah.
now is
the more
content.
content
it's
that's out,
attention.
the more money you make.
It's attention.
So now let's talk about this, right? Because a lot of people, when it comes to content and things like that, I see clippers are like becoming one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
You know, are you using clippers right now to be able to clip? Like, I haven't tried clippers. I use clippers a lot for like a lot of my content.
Okay.
Have you for like my podcasts and things like that?
Yeah.
So have you used clippers and things like that to be able to post content on on TikTok and different places to distribute your products?
Yeah, so it's funny because the clipper thing, I've been doing that for a while, but it wasn't called clipping. It was just
Yeah.
called influencer marketing.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the influencer would have a face behind the brand of that what they were posting.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have pages that aren't associated with the person posting the content. It's just associated with the person who's trying to get the content out there.
Yeah.
And so I use clippers personally for my own brand, for my King Jess.
Yeah.
And then we use our influencers for the products. We don't really use the clippers for the products.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the influencers have the most effect on, I've tried it, and the numbers just didn't really add up to continue. But it makes sense for building a personal brand.
Yeah.
Because now, instead of just posting on your own page, you have 20 different pages posting your content that you wouldn't usually post on your own social media.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the algorithms is that you have a certain algorithm on your social media, and I have a certain algorithm on mine.
Yeah.
But when someone creates a new page and posts my content, they're reaching an entirely new algorithm that I never would have been able to reach myself.
Wow.
Same goes for the content that I'm posting through these influencers. Yes, I could use my own personal brand and start telling people how to become healthy and do this and that. But that's not my algorithm.
Wow.
The algorithm, it's different for everyone. And so by launching something else and having, and this just goes into the power of delegation.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people want to be solopreneurs. I got to do it all myself. I got to do this. I got to do that. There's so much power in having a team and being able to delegate. You're going to get so much further working with people.
So when you, with your team, with your business, how do you structure your team when it comes to e-commerce?
Yeah. So I have 3 distinct different parts of the business. I have the marketing department, solely based on getting eyes, getting views, getting attention.
Yeah.
We have our affiliate department, which is solely based on managing our affiliates, because that's a whole nother job in it of itself.
Yeah.
And so managing affiliates is it's you gotta, when you have a good affiliate, you gotta keep them, because a lot of people want your affiliates. So you gotta manage them. You gotta build a culture within your affiliates. And then we have our sales. And so that is all about the people, the attention that we are getting.
Yeah.
How do we bring them in and get them to buy something?
Oh, wow.
You gotta have, if you're launching a business, you gotta have these 3 departments.
Yeah.
HR and stuff like that is cool, but I really don't see the need in it.
Yeah.
The way I run my business is, if you want to come in and you want to make money, then come in and make money. If you don't, then get on.
Yeah.
There's another business out there somewhere. Go find another job. We're
That's
here to
true.
work hard, hustle. I don't play games about my employees. Like if you're a part of my team, you know what you're there for. You know the mission. You know the values. You know the vision for the future.
Yeah.
If you don't, there's another business somewhere else that'll
Yeah.
take you sitting around. I don't take laziness. I don't like any of that. So yeah, that's
So
how
I know you've been purchasing. You're multi-millionaire now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've bought expensive things to be able to treat yourself. You know, there's a lot of people that are starting these online businesses. They do it because of the things they want.
Yeah.
What are some things that you have bought yourself to just celebrate yourself for you becoming a multi-millionaire?
Yeah, so I I like cars,
Okay.
so I have a Lamborghini Urus. That's my daily driver.
Yeah,
I
nice,
drive that
nice,
everywhere
nice.
I go.
Nice.
The reason why I bought that is because I could fit my son in the back. I got 2 sons, so I'm a family man, so I got to fit the kids in the back.
Nice.
The Lamborghini Urus was definitely a treat myself. I bought a couple properties, but
Nice.
majority of them are investment properties, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't really, that's more business.
Yeah.
Now, I did just buy a new property, a personal home
Yeah.
in Fort Lauderdale that I love.
Nice.
And it's wonderful
How much
for
you
the
buy that
family.
property for?
Oh man, it was $3 million.
$3 million. Nice.
Yeah. So
you bought it cash?
no.
Okay, you put a you
yeah,
put a
yeah,
down
I
payment.
put a down
20%?
deposit. 20%.
Okay, nice.
So you already know the numbers on that. 20% of $3 million. So I put that
Nice.
down. Bought the house. Main thing was land. So I got 5 acres of land.
Oh wow.
Beautiful house. I'm building a warehouse on it. I'm doing all types of things to it.
Nice.
So outside of the $3 million, I'm putting another $2 million just in building the property. Putting
nice.
a warehouse. I'm putting a stadium. I'm going
Wow.
crazy on that property.
Wow.
So that's how I treat
So
myself.
you're gonna be there for a while.
Oh yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be there for a while. See, I don't really treat myself with I could have went and bought another Ferrari or
Yeah.
something, but I would rather build on my property. My sons can go play basketball, go in the stadium, go in the warehouse. My family can all come and enjoy the land. I can
Yeah.
have a farm in the back. That's me treating myself.
Yeah.
Rather than
Buying
buying more
cars and
stuff.
things like that. Yeah.
For me, that's an investment. It's an asset.
Yeah.
It's gonna go up in value. The land out here in South Florida is not going down anytime soon.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to sell this 10 years from now, I'm probably gonna make double what I bought it for.
Yeah.
So although it is a personal treat, it's still an investment.
Yeah.
Whereas if I went and bought an SF90, I was looking at buying an SF90, a Ferrari, a year ago.
Yeah.
They were going for $1 million.
Yeah.
They're going for $500K now.
Now, yep.
Depreciation $500K.
I never been the car guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always was investments.
100%.
I always thought long term.
Exactly.
I'm from Africa, man. in Africa, bro, people are not spending money. If we're buying anything, it's real estate.
Yeah.
It's where you're gonna take care of your family. It's never
Exactly.
it's never about flex.
Exactly.
It's all about stability.
I respect
So
it.
so
Yeah.
me, I never really been the huge car guy. Always
Yeah.
when I saw all my friends buying cars during the pandemic, I'm like, damn, you put $100K down on that, $200K down on that. I'm like, yo, you tripping. I'm about to go put this in this so I can get a yield on this.
100%, man. I'm the same way. I look at the things that
That's
people
smart.
buy, and I'm like it's cool for now.
Yeah.
And you might feel cool, and might impress the girls, the ladies when you drive down.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what is it getting you? A few
Yeah.
years from now, they're gonna drop a new car, and your car is the old car.
Yep.
And your depreciation, you just went out of pocket $100K for what?
Yep.
You would have put that $100K even into a low investment stock investment. You're
Yep.
making 9% on that. So 20 years from now, that $1 million is 1.2. You take that 1.2,
Yeah.
take the 200, and now you can go buy whatever car you want.
Yeah.
And you still have your original mill.
That's true. Look at all these cars. Look at the Lambo and all that. I remember it dropped dramatically. Before the Lamb truck, back then it was way more. Now you can get it for 180, 190.
Yeah.
It's
$170.
crazy.
You can get it for $170
now. Those cars, I remember when I first got a Lamb truck, bro, it was 2 something.
Yeah.
Now it's 180,
Yeah.
170. I'm like, what?
That's the thing about these liabilities that people
Yeah.
buy. As soon as you drive that car off the lot, you've lost your money. The money's
Yeah.
gone. Now look, treat yourself.
Yeah.
I'm all for treating yourself, but do it smart.
Yeah.
Have your investments first.
Yeah.
Then you can buy whatever treats you want. But don't buy the liabilities until you can afford it with the return on your investment from the asset.
Yeah.
That's how rich people stay rich.
Yeah.
And we weren't taught that when we were kids.
Yeah. So let's talk about how many minutes we have? Okay. Okay, awesome, man. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see myself just extremely more wealthy.
Yeah.
I see myself owning. I'm going to be heavily invested in real estate.
Yeah.
I'm going to have brands that are going to be running themselves. I'm going to step away from the picture and designate CEOs for each of my different brands. And I'll have sold out of the brands I have currently, and I should have a lot of money to just put in my investments.
Yeah.
And I expect my investments to carry me through to retirement. And I'll just invest in the things I want to invest in, philanthropy. I'm big on charities, helping the kids, helping people who need the help, and just, spreading the wealth and helping people. I'm big on that as well.
Well, Jess, it's wonderful having you on the biggest podcast in the world, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Glad we're able to share your story.
Definitely. I thank you too, man. He's a GOAT in the game. This guy right here he's one of the guys, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, man. Of course.